the ghost of room 213. Welcome to Dream Haven _histories, where every shadow hides a story, every silence carries a secret, and every mystery has a darkness waiting to be discovered. In the small, forgotten town of Blackwood Valley, there was an old hotel that nobody wanted to talk about. The Willow Creek Hotel had been standing there for more than 100 years. From the outside, the building looked beautiful, with its old brick walls, broken balconies, and tall windows that reflected the empty streets around it. But inside that hotel was a room that carried a terrifying secret. Room 213. For decades, people in the town believed that something unnatural lived behind that door. Some said they heard a woman crying inside. Some said they saw a shadow moving behind the curtains. And some believed that anyone who entered room 213 would never leave the same way they entered. The hotel owner, Thomas Miller, had always refused to speak about that room. Whenever someone asked about it, he would simply say one sentence: "Some doors are locked for a reason." But in the summer of 1999, a young writer named Ethan Walker arrived in Blackwood Valley. Ethan was searching for a story. He traveled across America collecting forgotten legends, mysterious locations, and unexplained events. He had written about haunted forests, abandoned hospitals, and strange disappearances. But he had never found anything that truly scared him, until he found the Willow Creek Hotel. The moment Ethan entered the hotel, he noticed something unusual. The lobby was covered with old photographs, pictures of families, guests, and employees from many years ago. But one photograph caught his attention. It showed a young woman standing in front of room 213. Her name was written underneath: Emily Carter. The hotel owner noticed Ethan looking at the picture and immediately removed it from the wall. "You should not look too closely at things that belong to the past," Thomas said. Ethan asked who Emily was. The old man remained silent for a long moment. Then he answered quietly, "She was the last person who stayed in room 213. Ethan asked what happened to her. Thomas looked toward the hallway. "She disappeared. That night, Ethan tried to sleep, but the hotel felt different after midnight. The sound of the old building became louder. The wooden floors were making strange noises. The wind outside sounded like whispers. And then, at exactly 2:13 a.m., Ethan heard something. A woman was crying. The sound was coming from the hallway. Ethan slowly opened his door. The hallway was empty, but at the end of the hallway, he saw something that made him freeze. A door. Room 213. The door was slightly open, even though Thomas told him it had been locked for 30 years. Ethan walked closer. Every step felt heavier. When he reached the door, he heard a soft voice from inside. "Please help me." Ethan pushed the door open. Inside the room, everything looked untouched. A dusty bed, an old mirror, a broken clock, and a suitcase sitting near the window. The room looked like someone had left only a few minutes ago. On the table, Ethan found an old diary. The first page had a name written on it: Emily Carter. Ethan opened the diary. The first pages described normal life. Emily was a young woman who came to the hotel in 1969. She was waiting for her husband, Daniel, who was supposed to return from a business trip, but Daniel never came back. Emily wrote that every night she heard someone walking outside her room. She believed someone was watching her. Then, on the final page, Emily wrote something strange. If anyone finds this diary, do not trust the person standing outside the door. Ethan slowly looked toward the entrance. Nobody was there. But suddenly, the old mirror in the room changed. The reflection was not showing Ethan. It was showing Emily. She was standing behind him. Ethan turned around quickly. The room was empty. Then Emily appeared in the mirror again. This time she was closer, and she was pointing at something behind Ethan. Ethan looked down. There was a photograph on the floor. He picked it up. His heart stopped. The picture showed Emily standing in room 213, but beside her was Ethan. The photograph was old, very old, and on the back of the picture was a date, July 15th, 1969. Ethan dropped the photo. It was impossible. He was born in 1985. He could not be in a photograph taken 16 years before he was born. Suddenly, the room became freezing cold. The door slammed shut, and Emily appeared in front of him. She was not angry. She looked afraid. She whispered one sentence. "You finally came back." Ethan asked what she meant. Emily told him that room 213 was not haunted. It was trapped. The room did not keep ghosts, kept memories. Every person who entered the room became part of its history. Ethan asked why he was connected to the room. Emily looked at him with sadness. "Because you were here before." Ethan refused to believe her. But then he noticed something on the wall. A collection of photographs. Hundreds of them. Every person who had entered room 213. And in every photograph, there was the same person standing in the background. Ethan. Different years. Different clothes. Different ages. But always Ethan. The next morning, the hotel owner found Ethan's notebook outside room 213. But Ethan was gone. The police searched the hotel. They found no evidence. No footprints. No signs of a struggle. Only one thing was found inside room 213. A new photograph. The photograph showed Ethan standing beside Emily. And behind them was another person, Thomas Miller, the hotel owner. But Thomas was supposed to be 80 years old. The police discovered something shocking. Thomas Miller had disappeared from the hotel records in 1969. He was never the owner. He was a guest. A guest who entered room 213 30 years before Emily disappeared. Years passed. The Willow Creek Hotel was abandoned. People said the building was empty. But every night at exactly 2:13 a.m., the lights inside room 213 turned on. And sometimes people walking near the old hotel could see 3 shadows standing behind the window. Emily, Ethan, and Thomas. waiting for the next person to open the door. Because the truth about room 213 was never that a ghost lived inside. The truth was that room 213 was always waiting for someone new to become part of its story. Thank you for watching Dream Haven _Histories. Subscribe to Dream Haven _Histories for more terrifying mysteries, forgotten legends, and dark stories hidden beyond the unknown.